Okay, what I really should have done was finish this the other day. Do you still think that lion could be killed by a gun? Asked Diggory. He didn't mind. He didn't mind the iron bar much. With all her faults, said Uncle Andrew, that's a plucky gal, my boy. It was a spirited thing to do. He rubbed his hand and cracked his knuckles, as if he were once more forgetting how the witch frightened him whenever she was really there. It was a wicked thing to do, said Polly. What harm had he done to her? Hullo, what's that? Said Diggory. He had darted forward to examine something only a few yards away. I say, Polly, he called back, do come look. Uncle Andrew came with her, not because he wanted to see, but because he wanted to keep close to the children. There might be a chance of stealing their rings, but when he saw what Diggory was looking at, even he began to take an interest. It was a perfect little model of a lamp-post, about 3 feet high, but lengthening and thickening in proportion. As they watched it, in fact growing just as the trees had grown, it's alive too. I mean, it's lit, said Diggory. And so it was, though of course the brightness of the sun made it the little flame in the lantern hard to see, unless your shadow fell on it. Remarkable, most remarkable, muttered Uncle Andrew. Even I never dreamed of magic like this. We're in a world where everything, even a lamppost, comes to life and grows. Now, I wonder what sort of seed a lamppost grows from. Don't you see, said Diggory, this is where the bar fell. The bar she tore off the lamppost at home, it sank into the ground, and now it's coming up as a young lamppost. But not so very young now. It was as tall as Diggory while he said this. That's it. Stupendous, stupendous, said Uncle Andrew, rubbing his hands harder than ever. Ho ho, they laughed at my magic. That fool of a sister of mine thinks I'm a lunatic. I wonder what they'll say now. I wonder what I have discovered, a world where everything is bursting with life and growth. Columbus now they talk about Columbus. But what was America to this? The commercial possibilities of this country are unbounded. Bring a few old bits of scrap iron here, bury them, and up they come as brand new railway stations or engines or battleships. Anything you pleasure. They'll cost nothing, and I can sell 'em at full prices in England. I shall be a millionaire. And then, the climate. I feel years younger already. I can run it as a health resort, a good sanatorium. Here might be worth something might be worth 20,000 a year. Of course, I shall have to let a few people into the secret. The first thing is to get that brute shot. You're just like the witch, said Polly. All you think of is killing things. And then, as regards to oneself, Uncle Andrew continued, in a happy dream, There's no knowledge of how long I might live in is settled if I settled here. And that's a big consideration when a fellow has turned 60. I shouldn't be surprised if I never grew a day older in this country. Stupendous! The land of youth! Oh, cried Diggory, the land of youth. Do you really think it is? For of course he remembered what Aunt Letty said to the lady who brought the grapes. And that sweet hope rushed back to him. Uncle Andrew, do you think there's anything here that would help Mother? That would cure her? What are you talking about, Uncle Andrew? Said Uncle Andrew. This isn't a chemist's shop. But as I was saying, you don't care two tuppence about her, said Diggory savagely. I thought you might. After all, she's your sister as well as my mother. Well, no matter. I'm jolly well going to ask the lion himself if he can help me. He turned and walked briskly away. Polly waited a moment and then went after him. Here, stop, come back. The boy's gone mad, said Uncle Andrew. He followed the children at a cautious distance behind, for he didn't want to get too far away from the green rings or go near the lion. In a few minutes, Diggory came to the edge of the wood, and there he stopped. The lion was singing still, but now the song had once more changed. It was more like what we should call a tune, but it was also far wilder. It made you want to run and jump and climb. It made you want to shout. It made you want to rush at other people and either hug them or fight them. It made Diggory hot and red in the face. It had some effect on Uncle Andrew, for Diggory could hear him saying, a spirited girl, sir. It's a pity about her temper. But a damn fine woman, all the same, a damn fine. But what the song did to the two humans was nothing compared to what it was doing to the country. Can you imagine a stretch of grassy land bubbling like a water pot, like water in a pie? For that is really the best description of what was happening. In all directions it was swelling into humps. They were of very different sizes, some no bigger than molehills, some as big as wheelbarrows, to the size of cottages, and the humps moved and swelled till they burst, and the crumbled earth poured out of them. And from each hump there came out an animal. The moles came out just as you might see a mole come out in England. Dogs came out barking the moment their heads were free, and struggling as you've seen them do when they are getting through a narrow hole or in a ledge or in a hedge. The stags were the queeriest to watch, for of course the antlers came up a long time before the rest of them. So at first Diggory thought they were trees. The frogs, who all came up near the river, went straight into it with a plop and a loud croaking. The panthers, leopards, and things of that sort sat down at once to wash the loose earth off their hindquarters, and then stoop up against the trees to sharpen their front claws. Showers of birds came out of the trees, butterflies fluttered, bees got to work, and the flowers as if they hadn't a second to lose. But the greatest moment of all was when the biggest hump broke like a small earthquake, and out came a sloping back. And out came the sloping back, the large wise beard, the large wise head, and the four baggy troused legs of an elephant. Wait a minute. So there's the first image. There's the elephant and the cheetah or leopard. There's the deer. There's the other image. And now you could hardly hear the song of the lion. There was so much cawing, cooing, crowing, braying, neighing, baying, barking, lowing, bleating, and trumpeting. But though Diggory could no longer hear the lion, he could see it. It was so big and so bright, he thought he could not take his eyes off it. The other animals did not appear to be afraid of it. Indeed, at that very moment, Diggory heard the sound of hoofs from behind him. A second later, the old cab horse trotted past him and joined the other beasts. The air had apparently suited him as well as it had suited Uncle Andrew. There's the image. All the animals circled around the lion. The longer looked like a poor old slave. He had been in London. He was picking up his feet and holding his head erect. And now, for the first time, the lion was quite silent. He was going to and fro among the animals, and every now and then he would go up to two of them, always two at a time, and touch their noses with his. He would touch two beavers among all the beavers, two leopards among all the leopards, one stag and one doe among all the deer, and leave the rest. Some sorts of animals he passed over altogether, but the pairs which he had touched instantly left their own kinds to follow him. At last he stood still, and all the creatures whom he had touched came and stood in a wide circle around him. The others whom he had not touched began to wander away. Their noises faded gradually into the distance. The chosen beasts who remained were now utterly silent, all with their eyes fixed upon the lion. The cat-like ones gave an occasional twitch of their tail, but otherwise all were still. And for the first time that day, there was complete silence except for the noise of running water. Diggory's heart beat wildly. He knew something very solemn was going to be done. He had not forgotten about what his mother. He had not forgotten about his mother, but he knew jolly well that even for her he couldn't interrupt a thing like this. The lion, whose eyes never blinked, stared at the animals, and as hard as if he was going to burn them up with a mere stare. And gradually a change came over them. The smaller ones, the rabbits, the moles, and such like, grew a good deal larger. The very big ones, you noticed it most with the elephants, grew a little smaller. Many animals sat up on their hind legs. Most put their heads on the side as if they were trying very hard to understand, but no sound came from it. He was breathing out a long, warm breath. It seemed to sway all the beasts as the wind sways a line of trees. Far overhead, from beyond the veil of blue sky, which hid them from the stars, sang again a pure, cold, difficult music. Then there came a swift flash like fire, but it burnt nobody, either from the sky or from the lion itself, and every drop of blood tingled in the children's bodies. And the deepest, wildest voice they had ever heard was saying, "Narnia, Narnia, Narnia, awake, love, think, speak, be walking trees, be talking beasts, be divine waters." Chapter 10 for next time.